didn't take any videos while you were in Arizona.
Probably.
Hey, so look, YouTube. I left the boat. Tim came back. He's been here for several days doing all kinds of projects while I went to the solar eclipse and had a little family reunion. And then I came back to the boat. I just got back. I was literally on the boat 30 seconds and he was like, can you hold this? I need to put some screws in from underneath. So he put me right to work. But he's going to tell me about a project that he did. He's done several. He's been so busy. He's going to tell us about a project that he did.
I think your favorite project is this one here with the manifold. I put new valves for our water manifold that chooses which tank we're going to use.
So I'm going to be
we
able
had some
to
really
twist
old
them.
rusty valves.
I had to always use a wrench to twist them because I wasn't strong enough to twist them. Welcome to G&T Sailing. If you're new here, I'm Gretchen and this is Tim. Together aboard Felicita, our Catalina 42, we're exploring this beautiful marble we call home. You'll find us this season sailing further south along Mexico's Pacific coast and deeper into the Sea of Cortez. We don't care where we go, we just care that we go, and we're glad you're coming along for the ride.
Mexico is Sexico!
So I don't know if we've ever talked about this on the channel, but we noticed that as we were sailing along, the strainer would empty, and so we would have to burp it.
So we never sailed enough or never noticed it, I don't think, in San Diego. But we would run the motor, and then we'd turn it off and sail for a while. And I would come back down and check this before we started the motor again, and this was empty. So I would
almost every time.
Almost every time, yep. So I would have to just burp that a little bit like that, and then it would immediately suck water up through the through hull. So there was a vacuum created in there somehow.
So we don't exactly know why. There are lots of different theories. It could have been our strainer had some crack that we didn't see. It could have been something with the O-ring. Yeah. Could have been something with the place. So we just don't know.
And we didn't have spares.
Yeah. So we don't know if this is going to solve that, but it will be interesting to see if it does.
It will be, yep. Well, that strainer was down there very down low and a pain in the end. The hose that went over to the engine was just kinked and bent and really tight bend. So I moved this up to where we could get to it easier.
So it's not completely below the water line, right?
Yeah, but when I opened I don't have it closed off over there, but when I opened the seacock, water just came up and went right down and leaked out of the raw water pump. So I shut it off. So I think it's going to fill up about halfway at the water line, which is what everybody says. Everything I've read says that's where it should be. Is not below the water line, but not way above it either. So I think I got it just right. You may remember that we attempted to remove this hatch back in San Carlos and could not figure out how to get it out without damaging the deck. Because it was not a high priority project in sunny, dry Mexico, we opted to put the project off, but no time like the present. This time around though, we hired professionals and they used these wood blocks and a bunch of patience to get the hatch out.
I should just go find
Okay, so what is the project that you're doing?
Last year I was up here anchoring one time, and as I dragged the chain across here, the tops of these carriage bolts, a couple of them just popped right off. They were all rusted out. So they needed replacing, and I couldn't find actual carriage bolts.
And what's a carriage bolt for the people that don't know?
It has this nice round head on it with a, I'll show you. That is a carriage bolt. It's got that square notch that fits in. There's a square hole there. And it just sits in that square hole, and then you just tighten it up.
And so what did you do? So you replaced them because they were rusting.
But I couldn't find stainless steel carriage bolts in Mexico. So I just found stainless steel regular hex head bolts. But these are really rough on your feet and they're not right. So now I have all the carriage bolts I brought back from the States, and I'm just replacing these with the proper carriage bolts. And now I've just dropped the frickin' socket down in there, and it's down in the bilge here. So we got to tear the whole V-berth apart to get underneath there. And I mean literally take everything out because it's going to be in the bottom.
I'll get it. I'm very good at tearing that of undoing the... Tim, come on. Rally caps. It's not that big of a deal. I'm gonna go help. In order to replace the carriage bolts, we had to take the anchor off the bow roller, take all the chain and rode out of the anchor locker so Tim could climb down in there and be reaching through to get to the access hole for the carriage bolts. So because we are in the sort of refit 2.0 period, which then in a few weeks will turn into tucking in the boat for the 8 months while we leave the boat here in Mexico. So one of the tasks for tucking the boat away is cleaning the chain and taking a look at it and soaking the road. So since it's already out of the anchor locker, we're going ahead and just taking care of that job. So anywhere where we can kind of do dual purpose, we're gonna do that. Get a little bit more bang for our effort buck. And hopefully that'll make the last week before we leave just a little bit easier.
Do you know what a deep well socket is?
No.
It's this thing, but longer. This is a 9/16. I have the black bag on top of the stove with the pocket with these in it.
You need the 9/16.
I need the 9/16 deep well. Thank you.
Isn't it so nice to have me here while you're doing projects?
Is.
Yesterday we got in a fight because it was bugging him, that I was bugging him. Well, it was probably more complicated than that, but that's the Reader's Digest.
Yeah, I need a socket.
I'll go get it. One of the awesome things about our cover, if you watched our channel from last season, you saw that we had this cover made for our summer storage strategy, but it also makes it quite nice to be shaded while doing all these on-deck projects. Do you have to put Loctite or anything on it? So you do it where the top,
Where it goes through the deck too, just for giggles.
and then the bottom is where the nut goes on.
And see, there's a square hole right here
Yep,
that matches that square.
yep.
That's what a carriage bolt is. And see how nice and flush they sit?
Yeah. Tell me about the tool that you're using.
All right, it's got two little features. Let me get this out of here without dropping it. So I got to put this nut on the nut underneath. And unlike a carriage bolt, I have to hang on to that to turn it because it's not set down inside there.
Yeah.
So these things are really cool. First and
Oh,
foremost,
because those bolts that you're using were just circular, they don't have the square.
this has a hex head on it,
Yeah.
and that has the, see, it's nice and round on the top, but it's got that holds it.
Square,
That
yeah.
square hole, there's a hole in there that
And
matches
so that doesn't spin,
Exactly.
whereas these are circular at the
Yep.
at the
You have to have a
hex
wrench
head.
on top of it.
Yeah.
That's what a carriage bolt is.
Okay.
So these wrenches are really cool. Not only do they're ratchet box end wrenches, but then if you need to get in a weird angle, you can set it and lock it at a different angle. Like you could have the handle up like that.
Yeah.
Which is what I need in this case. So I can just go boom like that, but I got to hang on to the nut underneath because it's spinning as well. So that has to go in here and get this on the nut. And then I just hold that, or I hold it up here really and spin it underneath just to loosen it. But like I always say, the complexity of a job is inversely proportional to the quality of the tools. If you have the right tools for the job, it makes the job a lot easier.
Yeah. What did you choose?
Well, I wanted two greens, but she talked me into this Mayan red. They're both fourth, but she tried to talk me out of the bigger. They are kind of big, but I just love tomatoes.
I got empanadas. So I was wondering how much having a cover on the boat made a difference. So I'm going to measure the temperature. We have 1/3 of the cover on, and then we have the Bimini and Dodger are still up on the back third of the boat, and the middle of the third of the boat doesn't have any sunshade. So here is under the front third with the sunshade. Here is the middle third of the boat that has no shade on it. And then here's the back third of the boat, which is under the bimini. Here's the deck from the outside. Here's the deck from the outside under the sunshade.
I really appreciate all that.
And here is the deck under the Dodger.
That's
Just a big battery. That one.
Oh, it's got one in it already?
I think it is safe to say that having shade on the boat in Mexico is important. So what project are you working on?
Removing all these old clutches because we bought all new ones.
Uh-huh. Why do we buy new ones?
Because the original reason was they're starting to wear grooves on the insides of these teeth. Right there, see those grooves?
Yeah, and that's...
So the lines were slipping back out.
Yeah,
of it.
and this happens because people don't open the clutches when they're actually...
Yeah, either in or out, you should always have the clutch open.
Right, and if you don't, this is what happens.
It wears them
and
down.
then
and it's
you
worn
have
down
to...
on both sides. I don't
And
know
then
if
they start slipping, and that's a real problem.
Can you see how it worn on the other side as well? See it down there?
Oh, down there. Yeah, so
But then look
the
at this
problem
one.
is it slips. That's bad just from a like sail trim standpoint, but it's also really hard on your lines. So if you don't have the clutch open, you're wearing down the clutch and you're wearing down your line. Both bad things.
When I took these first two out,
Uh-huh.
they don't. There's a metal plate under here that we found when we put this winch feeder in.
Mm-hmm.
So we drilled and tapped the hole to take that screw.
Yeah.
These are all drilled and tapped. This set of two, one of the screws is broken right off. The other three are self-tapping screws that weren't even screwed in because they were screwed down to the metal plate and no further. So this thing was just sitting there rocking. And we
didn't ever see it rocking, though.
No. We had it for the jack line and for the furling line or something.
So our jack line, our safety line, was being held in by a screw. 2 screws.
So, but the point is it's really good that we're doing this.
So last year we bought all new clutches for this side and for this side.
And then when I went to do this job, I couldn't get the screws out. I needed an impact wrench. So I bought a manual impact wrench, which I started to use, but then I thought, I'm going to ruin this cover, so I got to wait until that. But then I was
Wait
reminded,
until that's taken off.
our neighbor, Kevin, he said, oh, I got an impact drill, which I have one of these. But he gave me his, so I wanted to use it and try it. But it works a treat. So watch this. I got all these out because I filled them up with WD-40 and I used the manual impact wrench. I just pushed down on it and I twisted and they came out. But these would not. I gooped them up, but I just got the first one out with the drill. So now I'm going to try the rest of these. That screw is hidden down in there. Yeah, it's just... what a mess. Okay. So it's like right... there it is. Now, you gotta have the clutch in just a perfect position. There it is.
So for me and anybody that doesn't know, what's that tool called? An impact what?
Impact driver.
And what is an impact driver? Like why is that the right tool for this job?
Because it hammers down and spins at the same time. And this is electric. That other one I bought is manual. Like every time you hit it with a sledgehammer, it goes down and spins just a little. So it just breaks things loose. And it works when you're tightening things as well. You hear it, it sounds like a lug wrench in a car. If you ever been to a tire shop and listened to them put your lug nuts back.
So it got it all up and loosened, and now you're just finishing it with a
broke
hand
it free,
tool.
and then I just finish it with this. But see, all of these are drilled and
But
tapped.
why is pushing it down and twisting, why is that necessary sometimes? Because it's so corroded?
Oh, yes. I can't push down hard enough with a regular screwdriver with my own strength.
Yeah. So I suspect that these 4 were installed by Catalina, and then these 2
RPO.
were DIYers, and so they weren't installed well.
Which we're running across a lot of that stuff from our previous owner.
May he rest in peace.
I'll get all these out, but I have to drill and tap I got to get that frickin' screw out of there. And I got to drill and tap 4 holes and get 4 new screws. But look at what a mess this is. This is all original equipment, like everything. So we got 7 of these on each side. Yeah, it's perfect.
So what is this?
Quarter 20.
Tell me about this handy thing.
It's threads. It tells you what threads you have.
So what do you do?
If you have a screw, you screw it in here till you find the one you want. If you have a nut, you have little studs here to screw it on.
And do we have it? Is this metric or standard?
Metric on this side, standard on this side.
That is so
Even has measurements for the length. So that is 1.5 inches long. Quarter 20 by 1.5 inches.
So handy. And you just mounted it right here.
Yep.
And there are all kinds of, almost every project I see you walk into the room and do that.
Yep.
So here we are on the luxury bus going to Guadalajara. It's very comfy. Our buddies. We are going on a tequila tour today. So step 1 is have breakfast. We need to have a base in our stomachs. So this is the most sober we're gonna look on video today.
Only the core, the bowl, as you can see over there. That bowl we name pineapple because it's very similar the shape of the fruit, not the flavor.
So Tim, how are you feeling?
Just a teeny bit drunk. I learned how to drink tequila a different way today.
What'd you learn?
That if you take in a deep breath, drink it, swirl around your mouth while holding your breath the whole time. Then you let it swallow after about 3 seconds. And then you let the breath out.
And the vapors leave.
The vapors leave, but they don't go to your brain, so you can drink more. But it's still tequila, which is not my thing, so.
Tune in for
Maybe I'll try that
more
with wine.
tips. Tune in for more tips on how to get drunk.
Maybe I'll try that with wine. That might work with wine. I can drink more wine.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's see it.
Take a deep breath.
Let me join you with this.
Swish.
Cheers, people.
What did you just say?
I don't get this tequila thing. I need a taco.
What do I do?
Make a sign of the cross.
Like this. When you're done, maybe this side.
Okay, ready?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Nice
1,
dental work.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Can you tell everybody that what you've done here? You've switched to Coke.
Yeah, I'm done with the tequila. Not my thing.
Evan, on the other hand, not done. Done. Not done. Gretchen, not done. So Tim, tell us about the most exciting part of your tequila tour
The
day.
vomit tank and the drug dealer girl. I went to the bathroom at Cantarito de Güero. Is that where we were yesterday? De Güero. And I had to go to the bathroom, so I went way back in the back to the bathroom. I had given you all my cash, and I forgot that someplace you got to buy paper to go to the toilet. But I didn't have any pesos, so I just kind of begged the lady for some paper, and she gave me some paper. And then I came out, and I apologized again because I couldn't pay her, couldn't tip her, and I noticed people were tipping her. So then I washed my hands, big long trough, and then right next to it there was a one trough, had a big sign that said, "Vomite aquí," vomit here. So they had a special sink just for the pukers. And then as I was leaving, this cute little girl comes up and starts asking me something really fast. I said, "No entiendo." And she goes, "Cocaína."
Oh.
I understand that. I said, "No, gracias." And I just kept walking.
And then Kevin went to
Kevin had to go see the vomit tank.
I was taking pictures of the bathroom, just kind of like, okay, this sets the scene, bathroom, vomit tank. And I was trying not to take pictures of this young girl in a short sweater skirt, because I didn't want to be rude. And then I needed to go use the bathroom, so I went in there and they were talking to me, and I thought they were trying to sell me toilet paper. And I said, "No necesita papel," and continued. And then when I came back, the cocaína girl was much more clear when she held up the little package with whatever it was.
Not selling
Cocaína?
paper.
Not paper.
Oh, gracias.
All we do is get pesos. Pesos and pesos and more pesos.
All of the tradespeople we hire want to be paid in cash, which means many visits to ATM machines. And inconveniently, there is only one kind of sketchy ATM in the town we're moored in. So we're taking advantage of being in a major metropolitan area.
You might be picking up on a little bit of melancholy. Tim's sad because he has to go back to boat work.
No, I'm actually not. The quicker I get that boat work done, the quicker I can go home.
Well, this is a good spot to leave things. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Leave us a comment and smash that like button.